Vlogmas Day 24. Say hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody.
We spent the day wrapping gifts, making vegetable barley soup, getting everything ready for the festivities tomorrow. Tomorrow morning we're going to be going to brunch and stuff, so I had a bunch of things to get ready. And now we are headed off to a candlelight service at Sherwood United Methodist Church so that we can celebrate the coming into the world of the light in the darkness. Here we go.
As if your first breath here on earth stole the very wind out of my lungs and every word off of my tongue. I've been a vessel up till now, son. But what next, dear one? But what next, dear one? When I look down into your eyes, I couldn't help but wonder, what would you see in me tonight? I've done the best I can for now, son. But what next, dear one? But what next, dear one? Face reflected starlight, packed the gifts left at your feet as we moved out into the night.
Getting ready for Christmas Eve service, printing out readings, getting candles put together, lighting certain lights, unlighting other lights. The musicians are practicing their music, and everything is coming together. We're about ready to celebrate.
In those days, a decree went out from Emperor Augustus that all the world should be registered. This was the first registration and was taken while Quirinius was governor of Syria. All went out to their own towns to be registered. Joseph also went from the town of Nazareth to Galilee, to Judea, to the city of David called Bethlehem, because he was descended from the house and family of David. He went to be registered with Mary, whom he was engaged and who was expecting a child. While they were there, the time came to deliver her child. She gave birth to her firstborn son, and wrapped him in bands of cloth, and laid him in a manger, because there was no place for them in the inn.
About ready to go out there and do the service. This is a poem that I wrote that I'm going to read for them during the service. There wasn't any snow. Desert villages aren't known for their snow. Even so, there was ample cold, of the type that makes you fold into a smaller version of yourself, less noble, less audacious, less transcendently alive, more in step with death. The freeze wasn't on the ground, it was found buried like seeds under scars in the hearts of the villagers, the cold which feeds hunger and poverty and wars. That void which is the absence of mercy. How better to describe it than to call it ice? The prophets might not have foretold the exact place or that exact time. Their words were for their own era, and they had different names on their minds. Yet the vision they shared of a world at peace, men of power brought to their knees before the sacred reality breaking into our midst, was of such endurance that we couldn't resist weaving the child of Bethlehem into it. Declaring this infant in swaddling cloths higher than kings or emperors, we were compelled to call this nativity a promise fulfilled. There may not have been angelic choirs, hung on delicate wires from the night sky with blushing faces, but the good news definitely was proclaimed in places where hard men guard their life savings on hooves. prepared to give a bloody beating to the one who comes like a thief in the night. No halos or feathered wings, but the more fantastic part is true. To find the newborn King of Kings, flocks and wealth were bid adieu. What could possibly accomplish that miracle but a heavenly host? Stars don't wander, and wise men don't come in threes. Astronomy has no bearing on human gestation. However, you can't retell this sacred story without reference to the visitation of foreign strangers with their mysterious signs, and the reminder that the lines we draw between ours and theirs are easily broken by the giving and receiving of gifts, and the rifts between religion which our fear pries open, no more daunting to cross than it is difficult to untie a ribbon. No wonder, then, if this child can turn enemies to friends, that we also say, a star rose, which was so bright, it turned the night to day. Who knows if the messenger was called Gabriel, and despite the carols it wasn't even a stable, nevertheless greater courage has never been shown than when a young woman in the midst of a scandal stood and made known the worth of a soul willing to play host to love. And whatever room was the stage of that birth, it testified in dust and wood, in floor below and roof above, that heaven's ambitions culminate on earth. Nowhere else but the grime of our lives is fitting stage for the revelation of the sublime. Well, service is over. Candles are put out. You know, I think one of the holiest things that I get to do is to do the cleaning up and stuff after services like this, after everyone is headed home, back to their families to celebrate the holidays. And I am, scraping wax off of something, or pouring out the last of the wine or the grape juice, or eating a little bit of the bread. It's that feeling of just having been part of a holy moment and savoring it before it's passed entirely, while it's still lingering.
As if your first breath here on earth stole the very wind out of my lungs, and every word off of my tongue. I've been a vessel up till now, son. But what next, dear one? But what next, dear one? When I look down into your eyes, I couldn't help but wonder, what would you see in me tonight? I've done the best I can for now, son. But what next, dear one? But what next, dear one? Face reflected starlight, packed the gifts left at your feet as we moved out into the night.